Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Outpost review. It started raining today and then that turned into snow, so I came up here. I actually had to go into town, or another town actually, and run some errands. Anyway, but I came out here to show you some of the destruction that happened in the last snow that we had. I told you that a lot of these yellow pine trees, they get top heavy and they come down. Well, let me show you one that was right up here, not too far from the kitchen on the downhill side, so I wasn't worried about it. But I'm going to try to salvage it because it would make a lot of good material. The foundation of the tree right there, and I'll try to maneuver over here on the side. This hill is very slick. You can see right here that there's actually a lot of slate pieces, if you can see down in there, mixed in, because this is primarily slate and red clay. But anyway, it came up, uprooted, and of course this is the main trunk of the tree, and it's probably about 16 inches in diameter. And then right here you can see right there's the rest of it going downhill. Fairly good sized tree. So I would imagine that the tree probably has, looking at it, maybe 3 good sized logs before I see a twist in the upper portion of it. But I can get the tractor down in the bottom. I'll have to cut some trees. I can also see others that have fallen that are in the way that weren't there before, but I might be able to this spring, summer, come up in here and salvage some of this. I'm not going to try to do it in the wintertime just because of it being very slick on these hillsides. Anyway, so I've got another one to show you. So we're heading down here where I'm going to build a base camp, and came up the other day and I also noticed some of these trees down that weren't like this. So right here we've got a good sized tree that has fallen. It looks like I don't know if you can see with this GoPro, but the base of it, it's been uprooted as well. It looks like it may be, oh, I don't know, 12 or 14 inches in diameter. It does have some good logs on it too. So that will be put to good use. But I also see one over here by the base camp that we need to go take a look at. I didn't know that that was down. So let's walk over there if I can get underneath this tree. I think y'all have probably watched the video on me building this. I haven't been down here in a day or two, but I want you to check this out now. If that didn't miss a good chance to, well, it did hit it some. Yeah, and I think it broke. Yeah, it did. It got the very back side of that, so I'm going to have to fix that. But it looks like the tarp, as far as the middle of it's, still in good shape. But this hemlock right here has fallen, and there's not too much lumber in that. That would make some good posts though. I could use that for something, but it's got a pretty significant root ball on the bottom of it that has come down. So we'll have to get down here and fix this at some point this spring. Anyway, I hate that that happened, but it's, I guess I'm lucky it didn't fall right on top of it and destroy the whole thing. But yeah, it broke that. You can see right there where it broke actually this support right here that was holding the tarp up. It caused that end to puncture it. But this is a good sized tarp, so when I unroll it, it'll still be good. But anyway, yeah, and when it caught that too right there and broke that. So we'll have to fix it. You know, it's amazing what a little ice and the weight of snow will do or can do to structures and other things. But it's not anything that we can't fix. So what I wanted to talk about today was how I'm doing the exterior. Now, if you're new to this channel, you wouldn't have heard me say this before, but if you've been following me for some time, you would have known that many months ago I was talking about being able to see the exterior or the timbers from the outside as well as the inside. Well, as time went on, especially when I started building that compost toilet and using that slab wood, I thought, you know, I could put a lot of this wood to good use. And I could actually also protect these beams even that much longer if I decide to go ahead and do like I did that compost toilet. I'm sorry, I was actually watching the dog, that he didn't get too close to the camera. So what I have done is I have built these walls and I inset them 1.5 inches back from the face of the post and of course the beam. And when I run my horizontal 2x4s to screw my siding to, that will make the siding be flush on the outside right across the face of both my beams and my post. That will help protect them for many, many, many years to come. Also, the bottom is going to get rock around that. That's the reason that I had made that small 2x4 knee wall. If you haven't seen that episode, you can go back into the playlist and you can see me building that before I actually started framing out for the floor. But that will also protect the bottom of the post. Now on the inside, things are going to be different, because by the time I get, you've got to remember, these posts are 7 inches and my 2x4s are only 3.5. I actually cut them 3.5 so I could conserve on some lumber. And I had a comment, you know, why did I go with 2x4 walls here instead of 2x6? And of course the person who was writing me, if I remember correctly, lives in Canada or way up north in Minnesota, someplace like that. It doesn't get that cold here. Pretty much the winter time, even January, February, this is what I have on. It does get down and hover right around 30 degrees, but that's, you know, most of the structures that are built around here just use R13 in the walls. So the R13, or that R factor that I'm going to put in the wall, combined with the radiant barrier, you will see me putting that on as well, I figure is going to keep this house pretty toasty and pretty cool in the summertime, because the sun, the radiant energy, won't be able to penetrate the house either. So I've been inset 1.5 inches, then you got 3.5 inches on the 2x4, so that's only 5. I've got 2 inches left. By the time I put a 1/2 inch finish on the inside, that's going to leave me 1.5 inches exposed on this beam. So on my posts. So every post, you're going to be able to see at least 1.5 inches of that from the inside. You'll see the entire structure, which, like I said, was my intention to do on the outside, but when I got to thinking about it, and putting this siding on, I said, you know, that would help protect it a whole lot better, like I said, for many, 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 many years to come. Not that it won't last a long time as it is, because I've burnt each one of these, and you know, they're massive timbers and they should last a long time. But some of the ideas that I have got, especially for each post on the house and the corner, I'm going to talk about when we go down there and look at the compost toilet. So I want you to imagine these posts, and then imagine the one on the corner, and turning and going around the side, and turning and going around the back as I explain what I'm going to do. I've also got the umbrella propped up beside the camera, so if you hear anything, it's the little ice crystals or pellets hitting the top and some of the rain. But see here, what I did when I built this, and there's a whole series on this Hobbit house and even that year in review, I did put in there a lot of the building of this compost toilet. I went around the outside of it and I closed it in with 1-inch by 10 sheeting. Then I used the slab wood and I came back and I put it over the cracks where the battens would actually go. So this slab wood actually became the batten. Some of them were large enough where they covered 2 areas. Like this one right here, there was 2 that went up here that I was, or I'm sorry, there was 1 there. This one was covering 2, and some of the others too. But what I was saying up there at the cabin, imagine at each post, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a large piece of this slab wood, and I'm going to go from the bottom all the way to the top. So it will appear that there is a tree there, okay? I will peel the bark off of it and I will use it in that manner. Now on the corners, since I've got some new equipment that my son got me that really digs out a lot of wood, I intended to do it on this corner, but I thought, no, you know, I'm going to go ahead and leave it. But my house will be different. What I'll do is I'll get 2 pieces of slab wood that will come to the corner like this, all right? I will do my best to cut a 45 out to where they can come and meet. But I will also take that new angle grinder and that new bit, that convex bit that my son got me, and I will grind a lot of this down to where it looks like it's rounded around the corner, okay? And I will take out a whole lot of that to where it looks like that's all one piece, hopefully. So that's the idea that I've got for the corners. And then like I said, on each post you'll have a flat one like this that goes all the way up. And I thought, you know, that will make the cabin, which, you know, when I first started it, I had different intentions for it. But that will kind of make it similar to this, because I kind of like this look. And I thought, you know, I could do a lot of things. The forest kitchen that we've got kind of favors this a lot too, because, you know, it's trees. It just had the bark cut off. They're all crooked, and I built it in that manner. I could take on the sawmill, I could add some supports under the gable ends and under the eaves, you know, that are crooked, and I could bolt those on to where it looks like, you know, it has a lot of those same features. And you know, when I build the porch on the front of the cabin, I'm going to kind of build it like this, where a lot of the material is just plain trees with the bark shaved off of them as well. I'll have the 4 posts on the front, and I'll do the same kind of handrail up there that I have done here. And also up underneath the eaves, I can do the same thing. I can take a lot of this material, if I can find it that's kind of curved somewhat, and work that into supporting my gable ends and my eaves, and also on the porch, you know, and actually adopt a lot of the same theme that's right here into the cabin, and kind of change it up from what I had originally intended. Because, you know, I tease people a lot. I say, you know, I may change the name of this channel to Hobbitville. No, I'm just teasing. It's Smoky Mountain Outpost. But, you know, I like this kind of look. So that is my new intentions for the cabin. That's what I'm going with. That's the reason that I'm going to put the siding flush all the way across the front. That's the reason that I built the wall and inset it back in there 1.5 inches. And I think when I get it done, the ideas that I have got for it, I think it'll look pretty cool. So I just wanted to explain to you, maybe if you're saying, because my son mentioned to me, he goes, "Now Dad, I'm really confused now." He goes, "I thought we were going to be able to see the beams." And I said, well, I think that I've mentioned this a few times recently about, you know, running that siding across the front and using this slab wood and putting it on the house and kind of making it favor this. But anyway, I guess he missed it. But yeah, that's my new ideas for the cabin. And I think it's going to look good. I think that I'm going to have to char those slab pieces though dark, really dark, because when I'm burning this siding on here, it's coming out quite dark itself. So I may have to burn those like I did the timbers, where they're kind of solid black, and then coat them. But I still think it's going to look good. So let's go on the inside and I'll explain to you what I'm doing in there. I was putting Smokey in the house. You want to see something really funny? When I asked him to come outside, watch this. You want to come outside? Huh? You want to go outside? You want to? What? You want to come outside? Huh? Huh? You want to come outside? What? It's okay. Come here. Come here. What? Yeah. Okay. All right, settle down. Hey, don't bite. Okay, guys, here's one of the posts right here. So right now I've got about 2 inches right here. I don't have a piece of 1/2 inch material actually that's close by hand. This is actually 3/4. But by the time I stick this 3/4 board on there, I've still got 1 inch right there. So this is kind of what it's going to look like on the inside of the cabin, where you will be able to see every post exposed that's vertical, and then of course you'll see all of the beams on the upper portion, the purlins, and the central beam up top and all that. So I think that's going to look pretty cool. Where is it? Right here. You ready? You ready? Let it go. Let it go. You ready? All right, one more time. Ready? Go. Hey guys, I wanted to say something. I try to read as many comments as I can, and we have a lot of really great comments that come through and support, but every once in a while, you get a negative Nelly, and I've had a few comments that said that they believe that I video more of the dog than I do anything else, which that's totally not true, because probably in my videos maybe you get to see a total of 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of the puppy. But I video myself up here, of course, doing what I'm doing, my son when he's here, my daughter, and all the people that come up here and help, and we sit and we have a good time. And we've had people play music and stuff like that up here. So if you feel like I'm videoing too much of the dog, all I can say is get used to it, because he's part of the family. He is a real character. He's a joy to have around. He makes me laugh quite a bit, and he's actually super intelligent. He is learning really fast, and of course, I think he is 13 weeks old now. He's getting really big, and he's a mess. I call him the beast. He's actually a beast. But anyway, I just felt like saying that because, like I say, I have had some comments, and all I can say is you're going to see a whole lot more of him because he's part of the family. Okay, let's talk about the burning and the staining of some of these boards. This is the exterior siding. This is what's going to go on. Now, when I put that Australian tongue and linseed oil on, they appeared in the beginning to come out a little bit on the orangish side. But I think what's going to happen, I'm not quite sure, but I think what's going to happen is, since they're going to be exposed, that the sun will begin to bleach them a little bit, so that may change. I can always also go back and apply a stain to be able to change the color of it as well. So I've got some that are darker, kind of like this piece of wood right here. Then I've got some that are lighter in color. So it's kind of a mix and match, and I won't put all the light ones together. I'll try to fade, back and forth from light to dark. But yeah, what I did was, I've had a comment too, what kind of material did I use? I mentioned it twice on the video. It's Australian tongue and linseed oil. Okay, you can Google that, Bing it, whatever. You can look that up, but it's a really good product. It's very expensive because 5 gallons is like $250. But it goes on, and you know, I've stained every beam on the bottom and every post, and I've done all of the siding to go pretty much all the way across the front, and I still have some left in that 5-gallon bucket, so it's went quite a ways. So I think one more bucket will finish the house. It'll do the compost toilet. I'm going to do the kitchen up there, and I'll probably still have some left over after that. So it's pretty inexpensive as far as protecting the wood, and I think that it's going to do a really good job because these are dried, but I can still feel that on the outside like a very thick layer. But I'm really pleased with it so far. So, but anyway, I actually had to plane these off on one side, and that may be the reason that some of these came out the way they did, because they had got wet. How they got wet, I don't know, underneath that tarp. But they got wet, and of course I planed it off, and then I went ahead and burned the best that I could, and then I coated it with that stuff, and it didn't turn out bad at all. So, like I say, I'm pleased with it. I can always go back and stain it if I want to. That is the exterior that I'm using to go. And I've also decided, you know, I was only going to use these on the bottom half, and I was going to put T111 siding, exterior siding, up the portion underneath the gable ends. But I've kind of changed my mind. I have enough of this lumber out there that I could actually go all the way up on the sides. So in order to save money and not having to buy that siding, I would have to add, I think, 6 on this side, 6 on the other side, maybe 2x4s horizontal, and I could actually put these up. I have board and batten all the way to the top. I still don't think it's going to look bad. It would be a whole lot cheaper, and it would save money. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do board and batten all the way to the top. Now when I get on the inside, that will change. Also at the top, I didn't build it out like I did the walls. I actually made it flush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 2-inch insulation, and I'm going to end up having more of that radiant barrier than I actually need. And I'm just going to glue it on both sides, because 2 inches of that styrofoam will give me right at the same amount of R factor as 4 inches of insulation. And so I'll just cut those that will wedge up there in between the 2x4s, and that way it will give me a radiant barrier on the outside and one on the inside as well. So I can keep radiant heat from coming in both directions, because it's supposed to have a dead airspace. That's the reason that I built that wall on the outside like I did. And then of course, you know, on the floor, like I've said before, I'm going to tack it along the face on the bottom, so it will be separated from the insulation that I actually put in on the top. So it should work well being installed that way too. But that's kind of some of the plans that I wanted to cover in this review as far as the house, and if you all had heard me say before, you'd be able to see the structure from the outside. I decided to kind of change that up a little bit. And then as I'm closing these walls in, I thought about that upper portion and deciding to change from using that T111. So I wanted to mention that. But you know, things sometimes they change and evolve, just like everything that's been happening in the country lately. But I hope everyone is still safe and in good health and all that. But anyway, I hope that everyone enjoyed this little segment of the Outpost review. I know it's not a great big deal. I really wasn't doing anything. The weather's kind of nasty. I'm actually going to head out and go back home because I was late getting up here, having to run all those errands and everything. But thanks for stopping by and tuning in. We greatly appreciate all your support on this channel and the other channel. And if you're new here, Smoky Mountain Outpost is our main channel. Go check that out. You can see all the work that's being done up here, and check out the playlist on all the different structures that we built. Anyway, we want to wish everyone a great afternoon. Take care. We look forward to seeing you back up at the Outpost again next time.